Hello, hello. Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Minutes with Milo show. How are you doing? Good, I hope. Let's turn off that. Looks like I'm on the air. I appreciate everybody listening, watching, attending the live show, live stream right now. I'm sure, hopefully, a couple of regular dudes will be on here in a second. So, if you're new to the channel, I appreciate you checking out the videos. Like, subscribe, leave me a comment, look at the shorts. Check out the live channel for sure, because that's where all these are going. I did some videos, and I think that's kind of different about my channel is I try to categorize things. So all my live streams are under the live category. My videos are under the this and that. I can't remember what I called my section on just videos. Whatnots, this and that's. What is that called? Well, now I've got to find out so I can say. But that's where my edited videos are. So if you look under videos, let's see, playlists. Odds and ends. There you go. So odds and ends are just the things that I put out there that are my videos or what I would consider normal YouTubers do. So if I were a YouTuber, and I don't mean to group everybody together, but I would take my camera or cameras, I would record a bunch of videos, then I would sit down at the computer, whatever, as an editor, and I'd put all of them together, make them all look nice and everything, and then I would upload them to my video section on YouTube, and let people watch them and those kind of things, and then I would be what I would consider to be a YouTuber. So I do some of that, I've done some of that, and I like to do a little bit of that. My my videos are pretty much almost raw. I record them. Sometimes I'll take out some dead space and shrink them up. I'll add little effects, maybe some music and different things like that. But for the most part, it's start to finish the video that I recorded, and it's probably boring, but that's just kind of like the way I like to do it. Straight through, no fancy clips, no fancy zooming in, zooming out. One thing, I don't know how to do it. It's all created on the Apple phone, so I don't do any of the fancy stuff. I don't want to take hours to edit the videos and then render the videos and then upload the videos. I'm lazy. Economical, frugal, but lazy. So I'll cut out some sections. I will speed up some instead of cutting out some, and then add different. Now I do some sections. I will cut it off, start again in an hour. If I'm cooking or doing something crazy like that that's stretched out for, more than a couple of 3 minutes that I can just fast forward through, I'll stop it, pick it up, and then I'll put those two together. I do that. But for the most part, I consider this show a broadcast. It's live, but it's recorded, and it'll be viewable later. And then I also put it out as a podcast. So if you're finding this, I need to redo my what's this channel about video. So anyway, enough of that. Let's get down to the night show. Rubber band powered flight. Now, is this something you could ride in? Not that I have ever seen. That's why I said the doors will definitely not fall off of this airplane. Because it's not big enough to have doors for the most part. So, I'm talking about these. If you read the further description, it talks about in there about let's get serious about rubber band airplanes, model airplanes, whatever. And that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the serious kind, the kind that just blow your mind as like, dude, how did they ever do that? That's what I'm talking about. So, what most of us think of when we think of these rubber band powered little airplanes are those little balsa kind of airplanes that you could get at dime stores. Call them dime stores. Uh, I can't remember where I used to buy, or my parents used to buy me those little ones that that we would have. So let's look at this real quick. Uh, Low tech balsa wood gliders, and this is an article, and uh, it's at znet.com. Tomorrow belongs to those who embrace it today. So this is under the innovation. I don't know why. It's written by John Dodge. It was put out in 2010. So it talks about decades ago, every kid threw balsa wood gliders into the air to witness a few precious seconds of flight. That's no lie. Man, I had those things, and they had wheels on them. They had wings and a little like a fake cockpit. I'll show you the picture in a minute. And you wound and you wound and you wound that propeller up with that rubber band stretched under it, and you would take it and you would hold the propeller with one hand, the plane with the other, and you tossed it and let them go both at the same time, and it inevitably went upside down, smacked into the ground. You had to go get it, start all over. But you could adjust the wings, you could adjust the tail, and you had to be really careful because the wings and the tail were just almost paper thin balsa wood cut. I don't know how they cut those things so thin. And that's what usually happen. You could break them putting them together. You could break crash landing them. You could break them taking them apart. After one flight, and then, you'd scotch tape them or Elmer's glue, fix some of those things. Then it was heavy. And that's why the better ones were the ones that didn't have the rubber bands on them at all. Hey, Cleo. Uh, they were just like a little balsa body, balsa wings and tail, and it had like a thick clip on the nose that gave the nose a little weight. And it was just a glider. You just threw it, and it just like almost a paper airplane. But they flew better. But the ones that had the rubber bands on them, I never could get them stupid things to fly right. And I would try different things because they had wheels on them, right? So you could, if you were outside or someplace where you had a hard surface, you could put them down, wound up, and let go of them. And more than not, they would just shoot across the ground on their wheels and then run out of power and never really take off. Every once in a while, you get one that might fly up in the air and poof, flop over on its back and crash. But so let's look at this thing. This is what I think of when I talk about, they call this free flight. There's no radio controlled. It just wherever the wind takes it. So for 75 years, Paul K. Gilliwill Incorporated has been cranking out balsa wood gliders you can put together in seconds and fly. Throw it and it flies. The video below shows a good toss which doesn't produce much more than 5 seconds of flight. The absence of batteries or electronics is sure to vex 30-somethings and today's kids, but the gliders are smart for their simplicity and aviation basics. What's more, there's no environmental impact from operation or disposal. Lightweight and porous balsa wood comes from South and Central America, so I'm sure there's whether rainforest is sacrificed in the gathering materials, some plantations of growth. So that picture right here is the epitome of the balsa wood rubber band powered glider, as it were. And if you want them to fly more than 4 or 5 seconds, then you better stand on top of your 2-story, 3-story house or in a tall tree and sling that thing out into the open air, because it just didn't happen. All right, because Wakefield Mass Company, well, you can still get them somewhere. Was started in World War I by a Navy aviator, Paul K. Gillou, in 1926 as new craft toys, a full year before Lindbergh fired the national imagination with his daring transatlantic crossing flight in the spirit of St. Louis. Guillermo is still going. Balsa wood gliders used to cost 10 to 25 cents a piece, but today they're $1.50 and go up several dollars. They make both the unpowered and powered remote control planes from plastic that cost as much as $70, and it makes dozens of balsa wood model planes for displays ranging from $25 to $45. Who buys the balsa wood gliders? Certainly my kids of Wi-Fi generation, now 22 and 20, wouldn't. It's a nostalgic purchase. Since 1999, Gillows has 13 website has enjoyed more than 13 million visits. So let's see what this thing looks like. This video he's put out here. So there he goes. He slings it. That is a good throw, but it was not. I don't think that was. That's not what we want. I don't think that was rubber band powered. That looked like it was just a glider. Let's see what the website looks like. Jump over here. Oh, cannot be reached. Guess what? Wah, wah, wah. I bet it is defunct. Why, yes. Yes, it is. Oh, well. They must have went belly up. Okay. So, what is that? Quit that, will you? When I talked about this as being free flight, and that's what they are. All right. So, free flight is just that. There is no controlling it. There's no way to steer it. And some free flight is unpowered, and some of it is powered, either by rubber band or electric motor. And they just build the plane, and the motorized ones, for the most part, are outside. But I got basically two rubber band powered types of airplanes that we're going to look at. We're going to look at the ultra light indoor flying for record. Of course, a lot of these are just for records or competition. That's why they're so technical. But the indoor flight, and then we're going to look one that's much bigger. It's heavier by a lot compared to what the light one is, and they're flown outside with they're really good size. And that's what I saw, and it kind of intrigued me. I said, what is that guy doing? And come to find out, he was preparing the rubber band for flight, and they call them the motor. Okay, that's just that's just what they call them, the motor. All right, so let's see if we can get out of that. Close down Google. This is not what I was expecting to see here. Okay. Oh my gosh, why does it do that? Here's what I expected to see. So, free flight overview. And this is in the FAI Aero Modeling Commission website. FAI home. It's a FAI.org. So free flight models are flown without any form of mechanical or radio control over the model in flight. Now, I want to say this. That's not 100% true because they don't change. Well, now, some of the ones we'll look at here in a second, they do change mechanically to, in my mind, to affect the flight of the model. So the ultralight indoor ones are designed to fly in a certain size circle. They fly in a circle because it's indoors in like a gymnasium or something like that. So they have to fly in a circle, and they're designed that way. So they're not just totally random flights. So mechanically they're designed, but you can't change the direction in flight. It's set up, it never changes, and that's the way it flies. Now, the big outdoors ones, according to this, I think this is the article that talks about it, do change, in my mind. It may not in theirs, but the changes do affect its flight capability. But it's predetermined. You can't change it one way than the other from the ground. I guess maybe that's what we're looking at. Two fundamental categories of free flight models are indoor and outdoor with various types and specifications for each category. These classes will now be described with outline of the main points and the rules. Okay. Indoor models are powered by twisted rubber motors, bands, with a maximum weight of rubber permitted in each class, along with the limitations of the airframe size and minimum weight. Championships are flown in large buildings, particular airship hangars, old or new, exhibit halls, and also the salt mines in Romania. That's pretty cool. Smaller models or local competitions may be flown in local buildings such as sport halls, rubber band gymnasium. Rubber banded power models have the motor driving the propeller through the entire flight, climbing up to close to the ceiling, and then descending slowly during the rest of the flight as the torque of the motor reduces. The indoor classes recognized by the FAI are the World Championship Class F1D. Two other rubber band classes for smaller models are the F1L and the F1M. And then the hand-launched gliders, F1N, is in November. So, those competition flyers are serious. Yes, they are. And I've got a video of these. They just blow my mind about those things. And that's why I said in the other further description, or besides the title, is like, let's get serious about rubber band powered airplanes, because these guys are serious. And like everything that's gone into competition, especially in something like this, weight is critical. The weight of the rubber band is regulated. The weight of the aircraft without the rubber band is regulated. The materials, all that kind of stuff. It's like NASCAR on steroids, the way they limit these things. Okay, so the outdoor models. Three major forms: gliders, rubber band powered, and powered by motors. Rubber band models are powered by a twisted rubber motor band, driving a propeller which folds to leave the model to glide when the turns have unwound. So that was one of the first things that we talked about up here. Free flight models are flown without any form of mechanical or radio control over the model in flight. So technically, I don't guess the prop springing back is control, but it does change its flight characteristics, and meaning, there's not less drag on the nose now. The weight's still the same, but the drag has gone from the prop blades being out to the prop blades folding back. To me, that's a change. Yeah, but it doesn't. You can't make it go left, right, up, or down because of it. So I guess it doesn't fit into that. And so fold to leave the model to glide when the turns have unwound. When the rubber band unwinds, they they talked about too about uh, variable pitched props. I don't know if this is the article or not. Power models have a limited size of internal combustion motor or electric motor, and this is allowed to run for a short time, after which the model glides. There are two types of gliders, one launched by throwing them up on a line 50 meters long, and the other is flown from hills with steering to keep them facing into the wind. Traditional models were constructed from balsa wood and covered with tissue paper, but for competition models, this has largely been superseded by new technologies for making lighter, stronger structures. Many models have airframes made mainly from carbon fiber and covered with plastic film. A common feature of all outdoor models is that they are subject to the wind and rising and descending air currents. Competitors work to understand the air motion and to keep their models up best by launching into the thermals. Major competitions are flown with the aim of flying for at least 3 minutes on each of 7 flights. Fly-off flights with increasing maximum are flown to decide the final winner when there is a tie. Clockwork or electronic timers are used to make preset adjustments to controls during the flight and to bring the aircraft down when the maximum time has been reached. Models are trimmed to circle during the gliding flight, which circles then drift downward with the prevailing wind. Smaller model classes are defined, which are flown to the shorter maximum of 2 minutes. All right, so, and I'm sure that's just a very, very light touch on the some of the rules. Clay's centrifugal force and the leading edges of the prop fighting into the air keep the props extended until they run out of power. Yeah, and then they, I guess, fold back, right? And it talked about trimmed. I get, like I said, they're designed from flight to fly in a circle. Now, we watch these videos on the big outdoor ones. You'll see they go for maximum initial height. Because what I was reading is the rubber band, the way it's wound, it has the most torque right off the shot. So they're trying to get as much height. Hey, Robert. They're trying to get as much height as quickly as they can so they don't fly out. They just shoot that thing up, try to throw it up like a rocket. So it goes out, and then at some point, it starts to level off, and then probably start making its low circles. Because it's really hard, believe it or not, this video, I picked one to watch. It's hard to see. I mean, they go out of sight really quick. Of course, they're not huge to begin with. So this is my favorite. We'll start out with my favorite, and it's the little what do they call it? What did they said they were covering? They were covered with competition. Now they're covered with plastic film. Now, as I understand some of this, it's almost like they use that stuff. Yeah, Mylar. But do they use Mylar? What is the stuff they use for that? The water dipping. You see it all the time. They put this stuff on the water, and it's just a film floating on the water, and then they dip stuff like, model cars in it, or they do all kinds of stuff. Gun stocks, not barrels, but you wouldn't be wanting to dip your gun barrel in a thing of water. They have that. Is my thing skipping? It's in the yellow right now. It says skip frames due to encoding lag, 1.1%. So it's in the yellow. It might be skipping out on the internet for a minute. Rendering lag is 0.3%, so that's down low. Average time to render a frame's 8.7 milliseconds at 30 frames per second. So it might be skipping a little bit. what do they call that? Where they dip stuff in the water and it comes out. They lift it up out of there. They do the guitars and they do musical instruments, do all kinds of stuff. Anyway, I can't believe it. But it is literally just a film that floats on top of the water. And I think that's kind of what this is. Almost, if you could get the stuff, you know, like when you make the bubbles, you blow air into it, and it's that glittering, glimmer stuff. It's almost like that, only thicker, of course. And then when it dries, you know, it dries hard and I think fairly brittle, meaning it's easily broken. But we'll start with these things, and it's just a kind of an awesome video to watch. And it's called Glimpses from the German F1D competition in Ingolstadt, November 2022, I think. So let's look at that. Look at this thing right here this guy's holding. Let's get out this sick picture of Susan Sarandon so we won't be distracted. And let me back that up to start. Can you hear the desktop music? Hydro Diff. Thank you very much, Robert. Get on it. Look at that. And that's real speed right there. That is just, that blows my mind. He looks like he's in pain. But that just...
I'm here in Ingolstadt in Germany for the last and final qualification competition in F1D. So F1D is the sort of Formula 1 of indoor flying model classes. The model must weigh 1.4 gram, the motor must not exceed 0.4 grams, and these models fly really slowly and really beautifully.
Is that better? Is that louder? I mean, there has to be no wind.
Getting these models to fly over 18 minutes in a 7-meter hall is quite an accomplishment. There is a lot of patience, precision, and attention to detail to build a model and a propeller that performs like this. We are only a few F1D flyers in Sweden now, so we have to look internationally to build our...
All right, so let me pause it here for a second. This thing is cool. So, of course, this is his rubber band, see? And he's got this device that as he turns the crank, of course, it's gear driven and then it spins the rubber band. So it's all done on this machine. This is, you know, he winds it up and watch what he does
look
with
internationally to build our community and get the chance to
here
meet
he hooks it to the back
and learn
of
the
the prop.
craft. That's the reason I went to
it
this
doesn't show it,
German
but you
competition.
know, then he has to hook it
The
somewhere to
F1D community
fuselage
in
the
Germany
back.
is also quite small, but very proficient. If you're interested in indoor free flight, I want to encourage you to attend a competition. People are very generous, and I'm sure you will learn a lot.
So I'd like to go back to the beginning, and he talks about how heavy or light they are. If I can find it. I mean, you could see through the wings. I mean, it's like, hello, I can see the ceiling through your wings.
I'm here in Ingolstadt in Germany for the last and final qualification competition in F1D. So F1D is the sort of Formula One of indoor flying model classes. The model must weigh 1.4 gram, the motor must
1.4 grams. The model must weigh that. So if that's its minimum weight, they could make them lighter. That kind of blows my mind if you think about it that way. They have to weigh that. Yes, you could think, well, they got to lose weight. But that also tells me that you potentially make one that weighs less than that. So, yeah, there can't be any. Be cool to dogfight them with bottle rocket. Or you could try to shoot one out of the air with a Nerf gun. That'd be kind of cool. But they spend so much time making these things. All right, so let's see how much the rubber band can weigh.
not exceed 0.4 grams, and these models fly really slowly and really beautifully.
0.4 grams the rubber band, not to exceed 0.4 grams, which limits the amount. I don't know what the big stick is for. I don't think they land them. I think they catch them some way. I mean, he just basically lets that thing go and it just takes off.
Getting these models to fly over 18 minutes in a 7-meter hall is quite an accomplishment.
18 minutes in a 7-meter hall. Gee, that's a gymnasium. I don't know what the stick is for. But, I mean, this was just kind of an intro video that I found that really showed them flying up close, which is just so cool.
There is a lot of patience, precision, and attention to detail to build a model and a propeller that performs like this. We are only a few F1D flyers in Sweden now, so we have to look internationally to build our community and get the chance to meet and learn the craft. That's the reason I went to this German competition. The F1D community in Germany is also quite small, but very proficient. If you're interested in indoor free flight, I want to encourage you to attend a competition. People are very generous, and I'm sure you will learn a lot.
All right, so this is from Light Flight YouTube. It had 17,000 views. It was put out on November 19th, 2022. It just blows my mind. But anyway, that was the glimpse.
Drinking warm water before bed shrinks.
Quit that. I don't care. Now this is the one. All right. So keep in mind that little crank thing that those guys had. All right. And that's the difference in scale to what these outdoor flyers do. So take a look at this guy. And remember that little thing that guy was just barely twisting, looked like with these fingers? Yeah, that's what these dudes have to do. See how he's leaning back against that? That's his rubber band. And he's got this reel type thing, and he's pulled it up against his chest. There's a bar that he's pulled up against his chest, and he's winding up the rubber band. Oh, it's under his arm. I'm sorry. I don't know. You can't see that. I'm pointing with my finger. Right here, that's under his arm. All right. So he gets it, and he lays it in this tray. See this tray he's got? Now he takes it off the stick, and he inserts that tray like a cartridge of staples into his airplane, attaches it to the rubber band, and then you see him pull the tray out of the end when he was done. Jeez, wow. This guy's quick. See him pull it out right there? He's pulling it out right there. He throws it on the ground, and then he puts his prop back on there. splitting grams, splitting teddy grams for weight. Yeah, Clay, I was wondering too. Like I said, they had to turn off all the heat and air conditioning in those buildings because it would just literally blow them to the ground. Seems like. So look at the size of the airplane that he has, and it's like a tube in the front. Here's the tube, and that's what holds the rubber band in there. And then the tail section is just like a fly rod here, and then these two, the tail sections, and then the wings. So flips it loose. He's in a big hurry. I don't know why he's in a big hurry. So all these guys are standing around, and I don't know what he's looking at here. Maybe the wind indicator or something. I don't know. So he's getting the last couple of twists, looks like, onto his prop. Let's see, there's one of the guys that took off. So now, if we get to see him throw this thing, just a little quick something right here. Watch as he goes. Right now he's paper airplanes that go longer than that. What? Longer than 18 minutes? I'll give you $1 if you can make an airplane, paper airplane, stay flying 18 seconds. So when he's doing this, I have to go back just a little more. We talked about this earlier, Clell, about the props folding back, and then one article I read, they have variable pitched props. He does something, if you'll watch real close right here. Let me back up for just another couple of seconds. But he twists each prop, and I hear it click. So I don't know what he's doing. But watch him right here, real close. There's one, there's two. And now, I don't know what makes it start to, he just shoots it straight up like a rocket. And it just goes straight up and then levels off as it gets towards the top. Maybe pitch adjustment. And there it is. I mean, I don't know how high that is. All right, so we're getting to see some. Oh, dang on you. I want to see the chart, the record chart that they had there. I don't know what it means, but let's just see if we can read it. All right. This is 2021 in Croatia. F1B class, that's over here. Last name, first name, country, his ID, start poll, round 1, round 2, round 3. They run 7 flights. I think that's the way they work. They ran like 7 flights and then they were off in a fly-in. But this shows 5 flights. I don't know what, that's 240, 180, 120, 120, 120. I don't know what those are. Times, I guess, maybe. There's nothing to really tell us. Let's see what this one is. F1B Bear Cup. Oh, man. It looks like the salt flats, but in the wintertime. It may be winter. Guy looks like he's got a sled right there. Did you see him unfold the props for that one? I mean, they're tossing them around pretty good, so they must be pretty sturdy aircrafts. Constructed, you know, because they're not like being super delicate with them. This guy's props are folded. He snaps them on there. I don't know if this is the polar bear cut fly off. Straight up. Like a rocket. And it's gone, out of sight. Huh. I don't know what it costs to make one of these things. Yep, they were camping too. There it goes, out of sight. Well, he don't even seem to be watching it. You just like throw it up there and let it go. So he made 6 minutes max on his first flight. Let's see what it skips ahead here. Alright, so let's skip to the end here. Got second place, lost 5 seconds. What else did it say? To first place, lost by 5 seconds to first place with 371 seconds in flight. Huh. Interesting. So these guys are definitely serious about their rubber band airplanes. Definitely serious about that. Let's turn off that. Get me full screen again. There we go. So there you have it. Don't believe I'd be getting my mustache hairs in there too close. I know it. Get the old beard wound up in that thing. It would not be a fun time. Have to put it in there and get a scrunchie, beard scrunchie, put it in there. So anyway, I love those. Uh-oh. Holy crap. I bet you I'm skipping a lot now. It is in the red. 13.7%. That is terrible. Is it even out there now? Skipped encoding lag. I don't know what happened. Seems fine there, really. It is wigged out in here. In here. So, anyway. Yep, I like the ones that are flown in the gymnasiums. You know, those guys weren't in parkas or anything. They were having a good old time. They let theirs fly for 18 minutes. You could have you a cup of coffee, watch your little old dragonfly wing thing fly around. Those things are just like, I don't know, slow motion, just easy to watch. So, yeah, I think the indoor ones would be my cup of tea. And it looks like it'd be a lot cheaper to fly them if you knew how to make your own, balsa framework, and then how to cover it with that mylar or plasti dip or whatever it is they use. But anyway, so yeah, I saw a thing on, I think, an Instagram feed or a reel or something, and it just basically showed a guy winding up his rubber band, and I looked at it and thought, what is that? And of course I had to watch it. And, he wound and wound and wound and wound, and then finally got it in the thing, and he walked over to the airplane and put it in there and did his thing and let it take off. And I thought, that would really be cool to find out about. So that's how I decided what tonight's show would be about. Craig asked me earlier, what was it going to be about? And I said, I don't have any idea, until I saw that. And I thought, well, that was pretty cool. So that would be interesting because I knew those ultralight ones, they fly in the gyms, had rubber bands on it. And it was cool. So, but I never knew that they made those bigger ones, slung them into the air and they, and fly them that way. But, yeah, lagging a little now. Well, that's all right. So it's been 46 minutes. It's time to get off here and get ready. 5:15 is going to roll around quick in the morning. So anyway, I appreciate you guys coming. Like always, share, like, subscribe, leave me a comment. At least I could get 2 comments at the start. You might start a snowball effect if somebody left a comment. And used to be in the RC stuff, so I get into the indoor thing. Yep. I'm trying to talk to a guy who was going to take me to fly a drone. I thought those would be kind of cool. I didn't want to spend any money on a drone, but he said, hey, I've got one you can fly. And this is back before Christmas. So maybe now it's after the holidays. I can get him to, we find a nice day, like every day on the weekends, junk. And then during the week, of course, it's nice and then gets dark super duper quick. But I think drones would be cool. That's why I did that drone simulator game that crapped out on me, because heaven knows why. I got to figure that out. So, but anyway, he talked about the RC stuff. Got me thinking about that. Joe, a guy at work's got, I think it's a truck, one of those stadium style off-road trucks. But he brought it in one day, running around the shop. So anyway, like, subscribe, leave me a comment, tell your friends, your buddies, your wife and her kinfolk, all those people. Get them to. I got 103 subscribers. Like to go up, get some people. Yeah, no gyro stabilizers or anything. Yeah, guy I was real good friends with in high school and college. Tried to fly. He had a helicopter, a radio-controlled, gas-powered helicopter, and it had one gyro in it, and that was, I think, to keep it kind of level. So you just give it the gas, and it hovered pretty good, but you had to control the tail too. So the tail wasn't on a gyro, and so you had to control the tail, but he could get it and hover. And oh man, he flew radio control all airplanes all the time. We used to go fly radio control. I didn't fly it. I was scared to fly those things. I could fly it away from me. It made sense. But the minute I had to turn and come back toward me and flip the sticks in my mind, no. I would have just done better to turn controller around backwards in flight. Yeah. So anyway, I'm gonna get off here. I appreciate you coming, and I guess we'll try to make it back on Thursday, like always. So anyway, I found the button that says Stop Streaming. I want to do that. Appreciate you guys coming. See you next time. Bye.